idea of the camp came about, I was actually sitting at a youth camp last year, and I was listening to the youth ministers talk about how much the youth of today are going through in their lives. And as I was sitting there and I was listening to the responses and everything, I realized they're really not going through anything much different than what each and every one of us go through, whether it be divorce or rape or mental or physical abuse or something that happened as a child or as an adult, and they're trying to get through it. They'll go to the pastors, and the pastors aren't qualified really to counsel with the individuals, and they'll try to refer them off to someone else, and the people can't afford it. They can't really afford the level of counseling that they really need, so they're leaving and seeking it in other areas and in other ways. So the idea of this camp came about was to help these adults, and we're not really telling them anything different than they've been hearing in the churches. That's what's unique about the camp, is we're taking the actual time one-on-one to teach them how to actually apply these things to their lives.
My husband had heard about it in our church and told me it sounded like somewhere where I needed to go. When we drove in, there was a cross on the left-hand side, so I knew it was going to be a good place to learn and to speak or to hear God.
I was attending Celebrate Recovery here at New Life, and Jeff, the leader, he introduced me to it and asked me would I be interested in going, and then he told me that my son could go with us, that it would be like a family retreat, and automatically when I knew that I would learn more about Christ and have the counseling sessions and he could come with me, I knew that that was for us. I'm like anybody, I didn't know exactly how it was going to be structured and what to expect, but it was in a beautiful location, and we all just immediately just kind of felt like we fit in. There was no question that you belonged there. So I just feel like from the moment we got there, God was working in that location.
I ended up staying in a cabin with two other ladies, and we still have a really good friendship, and we stayed up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning every night talking and get to know each other. And I like speaking. I waited for the woman counselor. I can't remember her name, but and she told me a lot of things that I was already doing was on the right path to recovery, so that meant a lot to me too. I had kind of drifted away a little bit from God, and so I knew that I needed to read my Bible a lot more for Him and talk to Him a lot more about everything, and about everything though. And so I don't know, I felt the spark back in my heart for Him, so I think that came from Him.
All of it was great, and I thoroughly got a lot out of the counselors, but the Sunday morning worship, you could just feel the Holy Spirit within that building. It was moving.
It was knowing that that God had worked in my heart. I could be around men for the first time in weeks and not freak out on them and everything. And I went home and I read my Bible. I'm still reading it every day, and the glow might be gone, but it's still in my heart that my passion is back for God and for a lot of other things.
The best experience that I had at camp was being able to look into the eyes of the individuals that had actually humbled themselves and came to the camp, and being able to see the difference that it was making in them. I mean, you could see it in their faces and their body language and everything. There was one in particular, one individual in particular. It was like the Holy Spirit reached inside and flipped on a light switch, and I mean, that was just, it was overwhelming for me. If the Holy Spirit is leading you to come to camp, then just have faith that He will give you the strength and the endurance to make it through it all.